Come in, dear one. Come in from whatever the day has been. Set it down gently, just here, just at the door, and let yourself step across the threshold into something softer, something slower, something that asks nothing of you at all, except that you simply be. Tonight, there is nowhere you need to go. Tonight, there is nothing you need to do. Tonight, all that is asked of you is to let yourself rest, fully, deeply, and completely, in the way that only the deepest nights can hold you. Tonight, you find yourself somewhere very beautiful. You find yourself at the edge of a great forest, deep in the heart of winter, where the snow lies thick and soft on every branch, on every stone, on every inch of the quiet ground, and where the night air is cold and clean and still in the way that only the coldest, quietest nights can be still. The sky above the forest is the dark, deep blue of the hours long past midnight, and across it, the stars are so many and so bright that they seem almost to hum, faintly, quietly, the way a candle hums just before it settles into its steadiest, most perfect flame. And somewhere ahead of you, somewhere in the beautiful darkness of the trees, there is a light. A warm light. A golden light. A soft and steady light, glowing between the black branches of the fir trees, nestled deep in the forest, as patient and welcoming as an old friend who has left the lamp burning because they knew, somehow, that you were coming. There is a cabin in the forest. And tonight, it is yours. But first, before we step into the forest, before we follow that warm golden thread of light through the trees, let us take just a moment. Let us settle. Let us prepare yourself gently, the way one prepares for sleep, slowly, carefully, with great kindness toward the body and the mind that have carried you through this long day. Find the position that feels most comfortable to you. If you are lying down, let your body sink a little more deeply into whatever is beneath you, the mattress, the pillow, the weight of the blanket that rests across you. Let your arms fall open, or let them rest wherever they naturally want to be. There is no wrong position tonight. There is only the position that is right for you right now. If your eyes are not yet closed, let them close now. gently, softly, the way snow falls on still water, without hurry, without effort. Take a breath in. A slow, gentle, easy breath, in through your nose, filling your chest and your belly, letting the breath travel all the way down to the lowest part of you, where the lungs curve against the ribs like the inside of a bowl. And breathe out. Slowly. Let the breath go without rushing it. Let it leave your body the way the tide leaves the shore, completely, unhurriedly, taking with it whatever it no longer needs to carry. And again. Breathe in, slowly, gently, your whole chest lifting just a little, your body receiving the breath like a gift. And breathe out, completely, all the way to the end of the breath, feeling your shoulders drop just a fraction lower, feeling the muscles across your back soften just slightly, feeling the jaw unclench and the forehead smooth. Breathe in. And breathe out. With each breath you take, you are moving a little further from the busy, bright world of the day, further from its noise, its light, its constant motion, and a little closer to the dark, quiet, restful world of the night. With each breath out, something leaves you that you no longer need to hold. Tension, perhaps. The tight grip of the day's concerns. The small worries that have been sitting at the edges of your thoughts. Let them go with the breath. You don't need to put them down carefully or sort through them. Simply let the breath carry them away, easily, naturally, the way the wind carries leaves. Notice your shoulders. Let them fall. Let them be heavy and low and completely at rest. Notice your hands. Let your fingers uncurl. Let your palms be soft and open, resting quietly wherever they lie. Notice the muscles around your eyes, the small, tight muscles that hold an expression, that hold a watchfulness. Let them go. Let your face become as smooth and still as the surface of a deep winter lake, when the ice has just formed and the snow is beginning to fall. You are safe. You are warm. You are held gently by this night. Take one more long, easy breath in. And let it go. And now, quietly, let's begin. The snow began to fall sometime in the early evening, and it has not stopped. You know this because when you first stepped outside, hours ago, the ground was clear, the frozen brown earth, the last dried grasses of autumn still showing through, the dark soil visible in patches along the path. But now, as you stand at the very edge of this great forest, the whole world has gone white. The snow is falling still. Not heavily, not urgently, not the way snow sometimes falls in driving, blinding curtains of white. This is quiet snow. This is the kind of snow that falls straight down, without wind to hurry it, without haste or intention. Each flake drifts on its own unhurried path from wherever it began, somewhere high above, in the dark of the winter clouds, and finds its way, gently, to the earth below. You stand very still and watch it fall. You hold your face up slightly, and you feel the cold, soft touch of a single snowflake on your cheek, a fleeting coolness, a tiny weight, a brief and quiet contact, and then it is gone, melted into your skin, and another has already taken its place, just as quietly. Around you, the forest is immense. The trees are tall, and very old, and they stand in the dark with the particular, deep stillness of things that have been standing in the same place for longer than you can imagine. They are mostly firs and spruce, their branches heavy with snow, their shapes like dark towers crowned with white. Their bark is dark and deeply grooved, and in the places where the branches have kept the snow away, you can see the rough, ancient texture of the wood, the lichen that grows in slow silver patches along the lower trunks, the small, sheltered hollows where moss holds its dark green against all of winter's efforts to bleach the world to white. The forest smells like cold and pine. It smells clean, deeply clean, the way the air smells when it has traveled a very long way from anywhere warm, carrying only the sharp, resinous scent of the trees and the clean mineral smell of the snow itself. You breathe it in and feel it travel all the way down into your lungs, cool and bright, and you breathe it out as a small white cloud that drifts away into the dark and disappears. Everything is very quiet. This is the first thing you notice, and it is remarkable. Not the quietness of an empty room or a closed space, the quietness of something vast and patient and full, the quietness of the forest at night, in winter, when the snow has muffled every sound and the wind is resting and every creature that lives in this great wood has found its shelter and its warmth and is simply, peacefully, still. You can hear your own heartbeat. You can hear the faint, soft sound of each snowflake landing on the branches above you, a sound so soft it is more of a feeling than a sound, a barely perceptible addition to the silence rather than a breaking of it. And then, through the trees, ahead and slightly to your left, you see it again. The light. It is golden and warm, the color of firelight, the color of amber, the color of something that has been burning low and steady for a long time and will go on burning for a long time yet. It flickers just slightly, the way firelight always flickers, as if it is breathing, as if it is alive in its own small, gentle way. You take a step forward. The snow under your boots makes a soft, compressed sound, a gentle crunch, barely more than a whisper, and you pause for a moment, listening to it, appreciating it. It is a comforting sound, that quiet crunch of snow underfoot. It is the sound of solid ground, of feet that know where they are going, of movement that is purposeful and unhurried. You take another step. And another. The trees close around you as you step into the forest, their dark shapes rising on either side, their heavy branches forming a kind of canopy above that catches most of the falling snow. Inside the tree line, the snow is thinner on the ground, the path more visible, and the light ahead seems closer and warmer with each quiet step you take. The forest path winds gently between the trees. It is not a road, not a formal path, more of a natural threading between the oldest trunks, worn smooth and recognizable by long use, by many feet across many winters, until it has become simply the way through, the way that the forest itself has allowed. You follow it without thinking about it much, the way you follow the natural contour of a riverbank or the slope of a gentle hill, because the path is there, and it makes sense, and your feet know the way even when your mind is quiet. The trees are beautiful in the dark. You let yourself look at them as you walk, the way the snow rests along the top of each branch in a soft, even line, curving with the branch's curve, following it from trunk to tip in a gentle gradient of white. Some branches are so loaded with snow that they bow downward, making little arches above the path, little natural doorways through which you move one by one. Passing through each one feels like a kind of quiet gift, a threshold crossed, a room entered, a small welcome from the forest itself. Above you, through the gaps between the canopy and the falling snow, you can catch glimpses of the sky, that deep, dark, extraordinary blue, with the stars beyond it steady and brilliant and impossibly far away. The contrast between the darkness of the sky and the whiteness of the snow-covered ground makes the forest feel lit from two directions at once, from above by the cold, bright stars, and from below by the pale reflected luminosity of all that white. It is very beautiful. You walk on, and the cold is real but not severe, the kind of cold that sharpens the edges of things, that makes the air feel freshly made, that is simply the natural quality of a winter night in this deep and quiet place. You are dressed warmly, and the warmth of your clothing is a comfort that you feel with every step, the weight of the coat, the closeness of the scarf around your neck, the thick, soft interior of your boots. You are warm inside the cold. And somewhere ahead, the golden light grows warmer and larger with each step. The path curves around the broad base of an especially large spruce tree, ancient, its trunk as wide as two people standing with their arms outstretched, and then straightens, and then, all at once, you come around a gentle bend in the trees and the cabin is there. It is everything a cabin in a snowy forest should be. It is low and broad and built from dark, old logs, the wood darkened by years of weather to a deep brownish gray that makes the whole structure seem to grow directly from the forest floor, the way a boulder grows from the earth, organically, as if it has simply always been there. The roof is steeply pitched, and it is covered in a thick, smooth layer of snow, a white blanket that follows every line and angle of the roof and hangs just slightly over the eaves in a soft white fringe. From the chimney, a thin, steady stream of smoke rises into the winter sky. The smoke is pale against the darkness, and it rises in a gentle, unhurried column before the small winds at higher altitude carry it sideways and dissolve it into the night. You watch it rise for a moment, and it seems to you a perfect thing, the evidence of warmth, the visible breath of the fire within, an assurance rising slowly toward the stars. The windows of the cabin glow. There are two on the front face, one on either side of the dark wooden door, and both of them are lit from within by that warm, amber, firelit glow that you saw from the forest's edge. The glass is old, slightly wavy in the way of old glass, and the light that comes through it is warm and wavering, softly uneven, alive. In the lower corners of each window, small crystals of frost have formed on the inside of the glass, delicate and lacy, like tiny winter gardens growing in the warmth. You stand for a moment at the edge of the clearing and simply look at the cabin. Snow is falling around it, onto the broad clearing in front of the door where someone has swept the snow back earlier in the day, though fresh snow is already beginning to recover the stones of the small path that leads to the door. A row of firewood is stacked neatly along the outer wall, each piece placed with care, the stack covered with a thin roof of its own, a small wooden overhang that keeps the wood dry. A lantern hangs beside the door, a real lantern with a real flame inside, and it sways ever so slightly in the barely perceptible movement of the air, sending its light in small, swinging arcs across the snow. You feel, standing here looking at this cabin in the snow, something that is one of the best feelings there is. You feel that you are coming home. Not to a specific place you know from before, but to a feeling, to an idea of home that lives deep inside all of us, that sense of shelter and warmth and safety that is older than any particular house or room, that is simply the ancient, reliable knowledge that there is a warm place in the cold, a lit place in the dark, and that it is waiting for you. You step forward across the clearing, your boots quiet in the fresh snow, and you reach the cabin door. You place your hand on the iron handle. It is cold against your palm, the metal clean and smooth, and you press it down, and the door opens. The warmth comes first, before anything else. It comes out through the open door like a living thing, flowing over you and around you, enveloping you entirely in the space of a breath, and it smells of wood smoke and pine resin and something else. Something warm and slightly sweet that might be dried herbs or beeswax, or simply the accumulated warmth of many quiet evenings in a small and well-kept space. You step inside. You close the door behind you. And the cold stays outside, where it belongs. The cabin is one large room, and it is everything the outside promised it would be. The walls are the same dark logs as the exterior, only here, on the inside, they have the quality of something lived with and loved, the wood worn smooth in places from years of hands brushing against it, the grain of each log made beautiful by the warm light that falls across it. Between the logs, the chinking is white and slightly rough textured, and it makes the walls look like the pages of a very old book, the logs the lines of a text, the white filling between them the spaces where the eye can rest. The floor is wide wooden planks, dark with age and polish, and across most of it lies a large, thick rug in shades of deep red and soft cream and a faded, gentle gold, the kind of rug that invites you to stand on it in your socks, that promises softness beneath every step. And at the far end of the room, the fireplace. Oh, the fireplace. It is large, built from the same dark stone as the chimney outside, broad-mouthed and deep, and in it, a fire is burning with the perfect, steady generosity of a fire that has been tended carefully and is now at its best, its most giving, its most beautiful. The logs inside it are birch, mostly, their white bark curled back in the heat, and they burn with a warm, orange-golden light that sends its glow all across the room, across the rug, across the low wooden furniture, across the ceiling above where it dances in slow, barely perceptible waves. The sound of the fire is exactly what a fire should sound like. It pops, gently and occasionally, the way birch does when it burns. It hisses very softly where the sap in the wood meets the flame. It shifts and settles with a low, intermittent sound that is almost like a voice, not a voice with words, but a voice with feeling, a voice that says, "I am here, I am warm, I am well, and so are you." You move toward the fireplace slowly, shedding the heavy outer layers as you go, the coat on the hook by the door, the scarf draped over it, the boots set neatly on the mat, and in your warm indoor clothes, the heat of the fire reaches you first across the room, and then more fully as you draw closer. And by the time you reach the hearthrug, you are perfectly, completely warm in a way that goes from skin all the way through to the deepest part of you. There is an armchair by the fire. It is a generous armchair, wide-armed and deep-seated, upholstered in a fabric that is the color of dark moss, worn soft with much use. There are cushions in it. There is a thick wool blanket folded over one arm, a blanket the color of cream with a pattern of small, dark trees along its edge. The kind of blanket that has been washed so many times it has become impossibly soft, impossibly light, impossibly warm. You sit in the armchair. And the armchair receives you, settles around you, holds you in the way that only a very good chair can hold a very tired person, completely, without condition, without asking anything of you at all except that you stay. You pull the blanket over your lap. You let your head rest back against the cushion at the top of the chair. And for a long, still, perfect moment, you simply sit by the fire, in the warm, quiet cabin, and listen to the snow falling outside, and the fire burning beside you, and the deep, complete, undemanding silence of the forest all around. The fire speaks. That is the only way to say it. The fire in this great stone hearth has a voice, low and warm and constant, and it speaks without words in the language of warmth, of light, of the slow and steady transformation of solid wood into heat and glow in the fine, pale smoke that rises up the chimney and into the winter sky. You listen to it. You let the sound of it fill your ears the way warmth fills a room, gradually, completely, from all sides at once, until the sound of the fire is simply the sound of where you are, the sound of this safe and cozy place, the sound of tonight. It crackles softly. There, a small pop as a pocket of sap releases into the flame. And there, a gentle settling as one log shifts against another, finding a more comfortable arrangement, the way sleeping things shift and settle in the night. And there, that low, steady, continuous murmur that is the fire's own breathing, the sound that lies beneath all the other sounds, that has been here since the first flame was laid this evening and will be here until the last ember cools toward morning. You breathe with the fire. Slowly in, as the flames lean forward, brightening just slightly. Slowly out, as they lean back, soft and amber, settling. In, and the warmth moves through you. Out, and you let go of whatever you were holding. The room around you is cast in the fire's light, and it is a beautiful light to be cast in. It is not the bright, hard, flat light of electric things. It is a living light, a light that moves, a light that has depth and warmth and a quality of softness that makes every surface it touches look kinder, more beautiful, more real. The dark wooden walls glow amber where the light finds them. The rug glows red and gold, each fiber casting its tiny shadow. The ceiling above moves with slow, dreamlike waves of warm light, as if you were lying at the bottom of a very warm, very still lake and watching the surface far above. It is the most beautiful ceiling you have ever watched. You watch it for a while without thinking about anything in particular. The light moves. The shadows move. The fire speaks. The snow falls outside. Outside. You can hear the snow. Or rather, you can hear the absence of sound that the snow creates, that deep, soft silence that is not merely quiet but is something more, something fuller, as if the snow has wrapped the whole forest in the same thick blanket that lies across your lap, has tucked the world in, has said, "Rest now, everything, rest." But beyond the silence, if you listen carefully, very carefully, in the way that one listens when the room is quiet and the fire has settled and you are completely, deeply at rest, there are small sounds that belong to the snowy forest night. There is the soft, periodic sound of snow releasing from a branch. You hear it now and then, a brief, hushed whomp, followed by a moment of silence as the snow settles somewhere below, followed by nothing, followed by the quiet again. It happens every few minutes, somewhere in the trees surrounding the cabin, And each time it happens it is as gentle and as final as a page turning, as a chapter ending, as a breath let go. There is the sound of the wind. But only barely. Only a whisper of it, the faintest movement of cold air through the high branches of the tallest trees, a sound that barely crosses the threshold of hearing, that comes and goes in slow, long swells like the breathing of something enormous and peaceful and very far away. The wind is not doing anything tonight. The wind is resting, like everything else in this great winter forest, like everything else in this deep and quiet night. There is the sound of the cabin itself. Old wood and old stone do not stay entirely silent through a cold night. They speak their own slow language of expansion and contraction, of heat and cold, of the slight movements of settling that very old structures make as the night deepens and the cold outside presses gently against the warmth within. The logs of the walls make small, intermittent sounds, a creak here, a quiet tick there, sounds so small and so infrequent that they only draw attention to the silence between them, the way a single star makes the night sky seem more vast, not less. And there is the sound of your breathing. You become aware of it, sitting here in the armchair, the blanket warm across your lap, the fire warm on your face. The soft, regular sound of your own breath, in through the nose, cool and easy, out through the mouth, warm and slow, has become, without your quite noticing it, the steadiest and most present sound in the room. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. This is the rhythm of rest. This is the rhythm of a body that knows it is safe and has given itself permission to slow down, to let go of its daytime vigilance, to simply breathe and be. You close your eyes for a moment, just a moment, and in the warm dark behind your eyelids, the fire's glow is still visible as a soft red-orange luminescence, as if the warmth itself has color, as if the heat is something you can see from the inside. You keep your eyes closed. There is no reason to open them. Everything worth experiencing right now is either felt or heard: the warmth, the fire, the quiet, the snow, and all of it is perfect, and all of it is here. After some time, you couldn't say how much, you become aware of something on the small table beside the armchair. A mug. It has been there all along, you realize. You simply didn't notice it, arriving as you did in the rush of warmth and firelight and shelter. It is a ceramic mug, deep and round, glazed in a color that is somewhere between blue and gray, and from it rises a thin, steady thread of steam. You reach for it. It is warm in your hands, not hot, just warm, the way something perfectly timed is warm, the way something that has been waiting for exactly the right moment to be received is warm. You wrap both hands around it, and the warmth travels from the ceramic into your palms and from your palms into your fingers and up through your wrists and all the way up your arms in the most gradual, delicious, unhurried way. You bring the mug close and let the steam rise against your face. It smells of something warm and gentle, chamomile, perhaps, with something slightly sweet beneath it, something that might be honey or vanilla or simply the particular warmth of something made with care in a small, quiet kitchen. It is a smell that does not demand anything from you, does not sharpen your attention or wake you up, but rather gentles you, the way the best smells gentle you, lowering something, easing something, inviting you a little further toward the soft place where all of this is leading. You take a small sip. The warmth moves through you the same way the warmth of the cabin moved through you when you first walked in, completely, from all directions, reaching even the places that were most cold, the deep places, the tired places. You take another small sip. And you hold the mug in your hands and you look at the fire and you are, in this moment, exactly where you are meant to be. The fire is doing what fires do through their middle hours. The great leaping flames of the first burning have long since settled. They were already settled when you arrived, and what burns now is not so much fire as deep, constant heat, the fire at its most essential and most honest. The logs have burned down to lengths of dark orange and deep red, their surfaces covered in the soft gray-white ash that fire leaves when it has done its best work, when it has given everything it has to give and is now simply glowing, holding the heat, radiating it quietly into the room. You watch an ember. One particular ember, near the bottom of the grate, that glows with an almost hypnotic steadiness, a deep, pulsing red-orange, brighter at its center and fading toward its edges to a dark, smoldering brown. It pulses very slightly, in and out, brighter, then softer, brighter, then softer, like a heartbeat, like a breath, like a tiny, patient, tireless heart, beating away at the center of all this warmth. You watch it for a long time. And somehow, watching it, your own heartbeat seems to slow to meet it, to find the same quiet, steady rhythm, the same unhurried pulse, the same in and out, the same brighter than softer, until it is difficult to say whether you are watching the ember or the ember is watching you, whether you are inside the warmth or the warmth is inside you, or whether, perhaps, the two things are simply the same. Outside, the snow is still falling. You can't see it from the armchair. You would have to turn your head to see the window, and turning your head seems, right now, entirely unnecessary, but you know it is falling. You know it the way you know things you trust completely, without needing to verify. The snow is falling, the forest is deep and quiet and white, and the cabin is warm, and the fire is burning, and you are here. You are here, and everything is well. Let's explore this cabin, this beautiful warm space, very slowly and very gently. To your left, the window. It catches your eye now because something about it has changed, or rather, something about the dark outside it has changed. You turn your head slowly, easily, and you look through the old glass at the winter night. The snow is still falling. You can see it now, drifting past the amber light of the lantern that hangs beside the door outside. The flakes are large and slow and perfectly unhurried, each one visible for a moment in the cone of lantern light before it falls below the sill and joins the thick white carpet below. Beyond the lantern's reach, the forest is dark and deep, the shapes of the nearest trees visible as darker shapes against the white, black trunks rising from the snow, dark boughs heavy and low and still. But above the trees, above the dark, snow-laden canopy, the sky has shifted. The thick winter clouds that have been producing this steady, gentle snowfall have begun, very slowly, to thin at their edges, and in the gaps that appear irregular and brief, you can see the stars. Not many. Only a few, in the narrow openings between cloud and cloud. But those few, those bright, cold, impossibly distant points of light, are so brilliant in the clarity of the winter air that they seem almost to vibrate, to hum at the very edge of vision, to exist at the precise boundary between what can be seen and what can only be felt. One star is directly above the cabin. You find it through the window, sitting in a brief clearing of cloud, steady and alone, shining down through the falling snow with a patient, ancient light that has been traveling for so long to reach this window, this glass, your eye, that the thinking about it makes the mind go very still and very wide. You look at the star. The star looks back. The snow falls between you, each flake catching for one fraction of a second the starlight before it falls, so that the air between you and the star seems, briefly, to be full of tiny sparks, tiny momentary lights, a falling, drifting, dissolving cascade of brief and beautiful illumination. And then the cloud shifts and covers the star, and the window is just the window again, the amber lantern light, the dark trees, the falling snow, and you turn back to the fire, and the fire is there, warm and steady, as if it never stopped waiting. The room has other details that are worth noticing slowly, one by one, the way you notice things in dreams, not urgently, not cataloging, but simply receiving them, one at a time, as gifts. On the mantel above the fireplace, there are a few small, quiet things. A pair of smooth river stones, each about the size of a closed fist, gray-white, rounded by long years of water, sitting side by side with the simple companionability of things that belong together. A short, wide candle, cream-colored, already lit, its flame small and very still in the warmth, burning straight up without wavering, its light soft and close and intimate. A small bunch of dried herbs tied with a piece of twine, lavender, you think, from the way its smell drifts occasionally through the general warmth of the room, a soft and slightly sweet note in the larger composition of wood smoke and pine. And a little piece of driftwood, pale and smooth, its shape twisted by long years in cold water into something that looks, just slightly, like a reaching hand, or a sleeping animal, or perhaps only itself, a piece of wood that the water has made beautiful, the way water, given enough time, makes everything beautiful. These small things on the mantel are not there for decoration, exactly, or rather, they are not only there for decoration. They are there because someone found them meaningful, found them worth keeping and placing and looking at in the evenings by the fire. They are there the way all the objects in all the homes of all the people who have loved their homes are there, as small, quiet testaments to the particular life that has been lived in this particular warm space. And you find them comforting. You find the whole room comforting. The low wooden table in front of the armchair, worn smooth with use. The shelf on the wall to the right, holding a small stack of books, their spines too far away to read the titles. And it doesn't matter, because the books are part of the room the way the stones are part of the mantel, the way the blanket is part of the chair. They are simply here. They have always been here. They will be here long after tonight. The small, dark painting on the wall to the left of the fireplace, a landscape, you think, trees and sky and maybe water, painted in the kind of earthy, muted tones that make you feel as if you are looking through a window onto a real place rather than at a painted image. Trees in mist, perhaps. Or trees in evening light. It's difficult to see clearly from here, in the fire's shifting glow, but the impression it gives is one of quiet, of space, of a landscape that asks nothing of you and offers everything. The braided rug beneath your feet, you slipped off your boots when you sat down, and your feet rest now in their warm socks on the braided surface, and the softness of it and the warmth of the boards beneath it and the warmth of the fire in front of you have created a kind of perfect thermal harmony for your feet, which have been cold and now are warm and which are grateful in the uncomplicated, total way that feet can be grateful when they are finally, properly warm. You breathe in. The smell of the cabin is the smell of every good thing about winter. Wood smoke, warm and deep. Pine resin, sharp and clean. The faint sweetness of the chamomile in your cup. The dry, papery smell of the books on the shelf. The particular smell of old wood and heat, a smell like summer and like history at once, a smell that belongs to old houses and old barns and old boats, to all the wooden places where human lives have been warmly and carefully lived. You breathe out. And you are very, very comfortable. Your body is beginning to feel heavy. Not uncomfortably heavy, pleasantly heavy. The heaviness of a body that has released its tension, that has let go of the day's efforts, that has stopped holding itself up and is simply resting, deeply and truly, in the warmth of this chair, this fire, this cabin. Your legs feel heavy. Warm and heavy and completely still, as if they have grown into the chair, as if they belong here and have always belonged here and have no intention of going anywhere for a very long time. Your arms feel heavy. Your hands, still curved around the warm mug, feel heavy and warm and very relaxed, the fingers loose, the palms open, the wrists resting easily on the arms of the chair. Your head feels heavy. A good heaviness, the heaviness of a mind that is quieting, a mind that has run its course for the day and is gently, gradually, giving way to the slower, softer kind of awareness that lives at the border of sleep. The thoughts that are still moving through it are not urgent thoughts. They are not demanding thoughts. They are the easy, drifting thoughts of a mind that is winding down, images more than ideas, feelings more than words. The snow. The fire. The trees in the dark. The star. The ember, pulsing. These things move through your mind the way clouds move through a sky that is clearing, slowly, at their own pace, without urgency, without destination, and gradually with greater space between them. The fire speaks. And you listen. Time has lost its ordinary edges. You have been here, in this chair, by this fire, in this warm cabin in the deep and quiet forest, for some time now, and the time has not felt long. It has felt like its own thing, outside the ordinary counting of minutes and hours, the way that certain places and certain evenings have a time of their own that doesn't correspond to the time of clocks and schedules. The fire has settled lower. The biggest logs have burned to deep, glowing cylinders of char and coal, and the light they give now is softer than before, more orange than gold, deeper and darker, closer to ember than to flame. There is still fire there. You can see the small tongues of it moving along the crevices of the largest log, finding new wood, feeding gently, but the fire is in its quiet phase now, its contemplative phase, the phase that comes after the bright and busy burning and before the slow surrender to ash. It is a good light for sleeping. Not bright enough to keep the eyes engaged, not dark enough to feel incomplete, just right, just warm, just the softest necessary illumination, as if the fire knows exactly what you need from it at exactly this hour. Outside, something has changed. The wind has picked up, very slightly, not dramatically, not in any way that suggests a storm or any disturbance, just a gentle increase in the soft sighing of the high branches above the cabin, a breath of movement that carries with it a little more of the cold, clean forest air and, with it, a slight pattering of snow against the window pane. The sound is faint and rhythmic and gentle, a soft, irregular tapping, snow crystals on old glass, as tender and as inconsequential as the tapping of light rain on leaves. It does not wake you. It only deepens the sense of shelter. Every sound from outside, the wind, the snow on the glass, the soft releasing of laden branches in the forest, is a reminder that you are inside. That there is an outside, cold and large and beautiful, and that you are not in it. That you are here, on this side of the thick log walls, in this warm room, with this fire, under this blanket, and that the world outside does not require anything of you right now. Nothing requires anything of you right now. You let your body sink a little deeper into the chair. You let your breathing slow a little more. You let the sound of the wind become simply a part of the night's music, the bass note beneath the fire's steady voice, the cold reminder that makes the warmth more warm. The candle on the mantel burns without moving. Its flame is perfectly vertical, perfectly still, in the warm and sheltered air of the cabin. It burns straight and clean and steady, a single point of light separate from the fire's glow, and there is something about the absolute stillness of it that is almost mesmerizing, a flame so still it seems like something held, something deliberate, a flame that has decided to be as quiet as possible and has succeeded completely. You watch it for a while. The flame is a gentle yellow at its base where it meets the wick, warming to orange toward its middle, and at its tip it is almost transparent, a faint blue-white that you can only see if you look directly at it, and even then only barely. Only for a moment before the eye slides back to the warmer colors beneath. It is a small fire. But it is a fire, and it is warm, and it is here. And it is burning faithfully, and that is enough. The smell of the lavender on the mantel drifts to you again, carried on some tiny current of air, some slight movement in the warm room, and it is soft and sweet and old. The smell of something dried and still somehow alive, the smell of summer preserved in the heart of winter. You breathe it in without meaning to, and it does what lavender does. It eases something, loosens something, softens the edges of your awareness just slightly, like the gentlest and most natural sedative that has ever existed. In, out, in, out. The fire has become a single, large glowing mass now, the logs indistinguishable from each other in the general radiance of deep, sustained heat, the whole great one warm, breathing thing. It will burn for hours yet, like this, slowly, deeply, without drama, without urgency, keeping its warmth and its quiet light for as long as it is needed. The cabin holds the heat. These thick old walls, these deep stone foundations, this well-fitted roof with its deep blanket of snow acting as insulation, the cabin holds the heat the way a good vessel holds what is precious, carefully and completely, with no leakage, no loss. The air in the room is warm and still. Warm and still and very slightly fragrant, wood smoke and lavender and chamomile and old wood and the soft, indefinable smell of a place that has been warmly inhabited for a very long time. You breathe it in very slowly. And you breathe it out very slowly. And the room is quiet. And the forest is quiet. And the snow is falling very slowly outside. And you are warm. Your thoughts are slower now. Noticeably slower, like water that was moving over rapids and has found the wide, deep pool below, where the current is barely perceptible, where the surface barely moves, where things can settle to the bottom without being disturbed. You notice this, and you let it be. You don't try to hold on to thoughts or direct them or find them. You don't try to solve anything or remember anything or plan anything. The part of the mind that does all of that is resting now, deeply and deservedly resting, and what remains is simply this: the awareness of warmth, of breath, of the soft sounds of the cabin, of the fire's light on your closed eyelids. Because your eyes are closed now. They have been closed for some time, actually. You closed them without quite deciding to. The way eyes close when the body knows before the mind that it is time to rest. And behind your closed lids, the world is the warm orange of firelight seen through skin, shifting very slowly as the fire shifts below. It is beautiful, this view from inside your closed eyes. It is a world without edges, without defined shapes, without the hard lines of the waking world, just warmth and color and the softest imaginable light, moving in long, slow waves, as if you are resting at the bottom of a very shallow, very warm, very luminous sea. You breathe in. The warmth fills you. You breathe out. The warmth stays. Outside, the snow is still falling, and will fall through the rest of the night, quietly, gently, without urgency, adding inch by inch to the deep white covering of the forest, smoothing every surface, softening every edge, making the whole world outside quieter and softer and more still with every flake that falls. The forest sleeps. The cabin holds its warmth. And you rest. The sound of the wind through the high branches is very distant now. Or perhaps it is not more distant, perhaps it is simply that you are less aware of it, the way the sounds that were once noticeable become part of the background as the body rests deeper. The wind is part of the forest, and the forest is part of the night, and the night is part of everything that surrounds and supports and holds this warm and quiet cabin, and all of it together is the world that contains you as you rest. You are held by all of it. By the chair, by the blanket, by the warm floor beneath your feet, by the fire, by the walls, by the roof above with its thick cushion of snow, by the forest all around, deep and patient and full of its own sleep. You are held. And you rest. Somewhere in the forest, not far and not close, a small bird shifts on its branch. It has been sleeping in the hollow of an old spruce tree since before dark, curled into its own warmth, its small head tucked beneath one wing, its heartbeat slow and regular in the way of sleeping birds. It shifts, barely perceptibly, and then resettles, and the forest takes no notice at all, because this is the most natural thing in the world, a small creature, deeply asleep, shifting without waking in the way that sleeping things shift, the way you shift, the way all sleeping things shift through the deep hours of a winter night. The forest is full of sleeping things. The mice beneath the snow, in their tunnels of compressed white, their nests warm and round and close. The deer standing in a group at the forest's center, their breath making small clouds in the cold air, their eyes barely open, their large and beautiful heads held low in that particular posture of standing sleep. The owls in the high trees, one eye sometimes open, one eye closed, perched on thick branches with their feathers fluffed wide against the cold, perfectly still. All of it sleeping. all of it resting. All of this great, beautiful, winter forest resting under its blanket of snow, under its cold and starlit sky, in the long and deep and perfect quiet of a winter night. And at the center of it, warm and lit and sheltered, the cabin. And in the cabin, the fire. And in the firelight, you. Resting. The fire makes a small sound. A single, soft pop, barely louder than the sound of a fingertip against a piece of paper, and then silence again. A log has shifted, just slightly, finding its final comfortable arrangement in the grate. The fire does not mind. The fire accepts this small readjustment without comment and goes on burning, steadily and warmly, as it will go on burning for hours yet. You hear this sound from very far away. Or rather, you hear it from inside the warm, soft place that your awareness has become, a place that is not quite waking and not quite sleeping but is somewhere between the two. Somewhere in the gentle passage between them, where sounds are received but not interpreted, where the body is at rest and the mind is at rest and the whole of you is simply here, warm and still and very, very quiet. You are lying down now. Sometime in the past long while, you couldn't say exactly when, because time is doing that thing where it no longer runs in a line but pulls and spreads and loses its edges. Sometime in that while, you moved from the chair to the small, low bed that sits against the back wall of the cabin. The bed you noticed earlier without paying it much attention because the chair and the fire were enough. But now the bed is everything. It is exactly as soft as you knew it would be. The mattress is deep and yielding, and it has received you with the same unhurried completeness as the armchair, settling around you, conforming to you, holding the shape of your body with a gentle, patient precision. The pillows are soft and slightly cool in a way that feels delicious against the warmth of your face, and you have turned your cheek into that coolness, and it is one of the most pleasant sensations you can imagine. The blankets are extraordinary. There are layers, a cotton sheet, cool and smooth, a heavy wool blanket, warm and substantial, and over all of it, a thick quilt, the kind of quilt that is itself a work of care and patience, its surface made of many small pieces of fabric in many quiet colors, grays and creams and soft blues and a warm, faded gold, pieced together into a pattern that is at once simple and intricate, like a window through which the light comes differently from every angle. The quilt is heavy in the most comforting possible way. It lies across you and presses you gently into the bed, and the weight of it is like an embrace, steady, warm, completely without demand, the kind of embrace that says, "You can stop now, you can be still, I have you." Outside the small bedroom window, a window even smaller and deeper set than the others, set low in the thick log wall, the snow is still falling. You can see just a corner of it from where you lie, a small rectangle of night sky, and in it, the falling snow, catching the faintest light from somewhere, the stars, perhaps, or the last thin crescent of the moon above the clouds, and glowing with it, each flake a brief and silent spark, drifting downward out of the darkness and out of the frame of the small window and gone. It is the most peaceful thing you have ever watched. You watch it without thinking about watching it. The flakes fall. The sky is dark. The window is small and old and the glass is slightly wavy. The snow falls through the wavy glass and it looks like water, like something that has always been falling, that will always be falling, that has been falling since the world was young and will be falling when the world is old. Falling and falling and falling. Quietly, softly, without end. The fire speaks, even from the other room. The cabin is small enough that the fire's voice carries here, low and intermittent, the soft language of burning, the occasional pop and the steady murmur and the long, gentle hiss. It is not loud. It is just present. Just here. A companion in the cabin, keeping the warmth, keeping the quiet, keeping its faithful and unhurried vigil through the hours of the night. You hear it and you feel the warmth of it, even here, even at this remove. The whole cabin is warm. The warm air from the fire has moved through the single room and into this corner, into this space, and the walls have held it, and the quilt has held it, and your body has held it, and it is everywhere. The warmth. It is everything, the warmth. You are warm down to your feet. Your feet, which were cold earlier, which are always cold, perhaps, or are often cold, in that particular human way of feet that run cold, are warm now, deeply and completely warm, wrapped in their wool socks, tucked beneath the cotton sheet and the wool blanket and the heavy quilt, and they are warm. The warmth moves up from your feet through your ankles, through the long bones of your legs, through your knees that have rested now and are still, through your thighs that are heavy and warm against the soft mattress. The warmth is in your hips, in your lower back, in the wide, heavy muscles of your back that have carried you through the day and that are now, finally, allowed to release. The warmth is in your chest, in the slow and deep expansion and contraction of your breathing. The warmth is in your shoulders, which have fallen so far from your ears that you cannot imagine how they were ever anywhere else. The warmth is in your face, in your jaw which has unclenched, in your forehead which is smooth, in the muscles around your eyes which are soft and still and closed. You are warm. You are completely warm. And you are very, very still. Breathe in. Slowly, gently, all the way down. Feel your chest rise and your belly expand, and let the breath fill you completely, the way the cabin is filled with warmth, the way the forest is filled with snow. Breathe out. All the way. Every last bit. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And again. Breathe in. Everything that your body needs is in this breath. Everything is well. The forest is outside. The snow is falling. The fire is burning. The cabin is warm. You are here. Breathe out. And rest. The snow on the roof is very thick now. You cannot see it, but you know it is there, thick and soft and perfectly still, a heavy white blanket on the steeply pitched roof above you, insulating the cabin from the cold, pressing gently down on the old wood with its soft, substantial weight. The roof holds it easily. It has held far more than this in far colder winters. It has held everything. Above the snow on the roof, the sky. The cold, enormous, extraordinary sky of a winter night, deep blue at its highest arc, paler where it meets the horizon, where the forest's silhouette cuts a dark, serrated line against the last of the cloud. The clouds are thinning now, slowly, over the long hours of the night. The cloud cover is pulling apart, and more of the stars are coming through, and the moonlight, very faint, very cold, very silver, is beginning to find its way through the gaps and fall on the snow below. The snow glows. Moonlit snow has a light of its own, a reflected, borrowed light, soft and directionless, as if the snow itself is the source rather than the receiver. The whole forest glows faintly in it, the clearings, the paths, the surfaces of every branch and stone and fallen log, all of it suffused with that cold, clean, silver light. It is very beautiful. The world outside is very beautiful. Cold and quiet and beautiful, in the way that only winter can be beautiful, starker than other seasons, less adorned, more essential, the world reduced to its simplest elements, dark and light, cold and warm, silence and the small sounds that give the silence its meaning. And you are inside all of that beauty, held at its warm center. Safe. Warm. Still. Everything is growing quieter now. The fire is lower. It burns still, it will burn through the night, but its voice is softer now, barely more than a whisper in the other room, a faint and gentle sound at the very edge of hearing. The wind has settled. The forest outside is completely still. Not a branch moving, not a tree speaking, not a sound from anywhere in the long, white, deep, extraordinary quiet of the winter forest at its most peaceful hour. The snow has almost stopped. A flake here, a flake there, drifting down very slowly in the cold air, each flake taking longer to fall than the last, as if the snow itself is slowing, settling, coming to rest. The world is very quiet. And you are very still. Your breathing is slow. In, long and slow and gentle. Out, long and slow and gentle. In, out. Each breath a little slower than the last. Each breath a little softer. Each breath carrying you a little further from wakefulness, a little deeper into rest, a little closer to the soft and formless dark at the edge of sleep. The quilt is warm. The pillow is soft beneath your cheek. The cabin is quiet and warm and dark, lit only by the faint amber glow of the dying fire at its other end, and even that is growing softer now, settling lower, giving way by degrees to the dark. Everything is soft. Everything is warm. Everything is quiet. You are safe. You are warm. You are held. Let your mind go still. Don't try to think anything. Don't try to feel anything. Don't try to hold on to anything or follow any thought or maintain any awareness. You don't need to be anywhere or know anything or be anything at all. Simply be here. Simply be warm. Simply breathe. The snow outside has stopped. The forest is completely still and white and deep and utterly, perfectly silent. The cabin holds its warmth in the cold. The fire breathes its last orange light across the ceiling. And you are going somewhere very gentle now. Somewhere soft and warm and dark, somewhere without edges or urgency, somewhere that asks nothing of you at all except that you let yourself be carried there. You are being carried by the warmth, by the dark, by the soft weight of the quilt, by the silence of the forest and the gentle, faithful burning of the fire in the next room. Carried. Gently. Toward sleep. The candle on the mantel has burned very low. Its light is barely a flicker now, a tiny point of amber in the dark, dancing very slightly in the warm air, nearly invisible, nearly gone. It will burn just a little longer. Then it will go out, and the cabin will be dark, and the only light will be the deep orange glow of the last embers in the grate, pulsing their slow, steady pulse, warm and faithful and quiet. But that is later. For now, the candle burns. A small, still flame. Breathing. Just like you. In. Out. In. Out. The warm dark is all around you. The warm dark and the soft weight of the blankets and the smooth coolness of the pillow and the faint, distant sound of the fire. In. Out. The snow is on the roof, deep and still. The stars are out above the snow. The forest is sleeping all around, every creature in its shelter, every branch in its rest. And you are sleeping too. Or very nearly. You are at the very edge of sleep now, that warm, soft, dissolving place where the body has gone fully still and the mind is barely here, barely maintaining its hold on the waking world, already half in the other place, the soft place, the dark warm place without words. Let go. You can let go now. There is nothing to hold. The fire will keep. The cabin will keep. The forest will keep its great, quiet watch through all the hours left of this winter night. And you can simply rest. Simply sleep. Simply be held by all of this warmth and all of this quiet and all of this soft and beautiful dark. The fire breathes. You breathe. The snow is still. The night is still. Everything is still. Warm. Quiet. Still. Sleep now. Sleep now, in the warm cabin, in the deep forest, in the heart of the winter night. Sleep now, with the snow on the roof and the stars above the snow and the fire burning low in the great and the whole beautiful, enormous, peaceful world resting all around you. Sleep now. You are safe. You are warm. You are held. You are loved. Sleep. The fire grows softer and softer and the dark grows deeper and and warmer and quieter and you are drifting gently, slowly down into the warm and the soft and the still and the dark, where there is nothing but rest and warmth and the faintest, farthest, softest sound of snow falling in the forest, very far away, and very quietly falling, 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 and you are warm and still and safe and sleeping deeply, peacefully, gently, and completely sleeping.